Everybody knows there are some rather huge differences between men and women, and in an effort to decipher these differences, men have developed some significant misunderstandings about female nature. So I decided to make this video to help you understand what women are thinking, what motivates them and what drives them, and how that might be different from what you expect. Understanding more about female nature will help you not only in relationships and with your family, but it will also help you on your journey to become a better man. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. The first misunderstanding men have about female nature is believing that women are not as sexual as men. For thousands of years, sexuality has been repressed for both men and women. But it really wasn't until the 1960s that the idea of female sexuality entered the mainstream consciousness. But to this day, I see the narrative of men believing that women shouldn't be as sexually interested, shouldn't be as sexually involved with people as men are. And sex is seen as this reward that a woman gives to a man rather than something she independently wants herself. Men continue to idolize the idea of a virgin, of purity. But the truth is, women have just as much, and in fact a greater capacity to enjoy sex, to have orgasms than men. But that isn't to say that female sexuality isn't very different from male sexuality. What is sexually interesting and appealing to a man will be very different from what it is to a woman. There really is no one way to define female sexuality, but it would be very naive to think that women don't have the same level of sexual thoughts as men. They may just be a very different type of thought that are brought about by different triggers, different responses to different stimuli. Another thing men misunderstand about female nature is their need for safety and how unsafe they feel in what we would consider to be very everyday situations. As men, we've rarely felt unsafe when walking alone at night, taking the bus, etc. But what we don't realize is that women are made to feel unsafe in these very ordinary situations from a very young age. And the less safe a woman feels, the harder it is for her to relax into her feminine energy. So if you want a woman to be more feminine, less masculine, she needs to feel that she can be vulnerable, to let her guard down. We have a society of women who are afraid walking around on the street. It's no wonder they are presenting a more masculine front, because for them that's the only way not to get attacked or harassed. And as a result of this, there is a concept of quiet communication among groups of women. You might have experienced this before. Maybe you've been on a night out, you've connected with a particular woman, but the rest of the group has to like you and trust you in order for her to want to go home with you. It's like women look to each other. There is this sisterhood of safety that as men, we don't really have. Obviously, you look out for your friend, you look out for your brother, but if your friend is going home with a woman, you're not concerned for his safety. You just hope that he has a good time. Having an understanding about this side of female nature reinforces the need to be more of a gentleman. This is why you don't catcall on the street. This is why you don't make unsolicited sexual remarks in an inappropriate place. Because you understand that to a woman, the world has this constant edge of danger. And your job as a man is to make it feel as safe as possible, not to be another threat. This leads me nicely onto my next point about female nature, which is women like to be sexy for themselves. The vast majority of men only put an effort into their appearance in order to attract the potential of sex, whether that's with their wife or whether that's as a single man on the dating market. Typically, a man will put an effort into his appearance to attract attention. But a woman will put effort into her appearance simply to make herself feel good. This is why generally you will see that women make more of an effort with their appearance, with their clothes, makeup and hair, etc., than the average man. And you might see a married couple in their 40s or 50s where the man has completely let himself go, yet the woman still looks rather glamorous. It's not because the woman is shopping around trying to attract other men. She's simply taking care of herself because that makes her feel good. This even happens when a woman wears a revealing outfit, for example, to the nightclub. Now for you, you might have only worn a particular outfit because it looks sexy and you want to attract women. But women just enjoy being sexy for themselves. She might have worn that outfit because not only does she think she looks good in it, but she gets compliments from other women from her friend group, and that gives her more confidence to just enjoy the night and be with her friends. Of course, women also attract male attention deliberately through their presentation, but it's not always about that. And I think as men, that can be very difficult for us to understand. I am personally a man that also enjoys looking his best simply for himself. I don't do this only when I'm seeing a woman. In fact, I'm not seeing any women today. But for the majority of men, it's hard to wrap their heads around the concept of looking good simply for yourself without trying to attract any kind of attention from the opposite sex. I see many debates about the concept of hypergamy online. The idea that a woman will always seek the partner that is able to provide the best. And the belief that all women are hypergamous by nature has become very popular in the manosphere, in the red pill area of discussion. And then on the other hand, we have the idea that people just care about connection, about the person deep down inside. Women don't care about material possessions. You should just be yourself. And different women exist at different points on that scale. Some women are naturally more interested in resources, in lifestyle. Some women could hardly care less about that. However, even those women still have a standard. If a guy is literally homeless, they are much less likely to date him than if he works at McDonald's. So what you have to understand as a man is that yes, hypergamy is a reality, but it's not everything. And if you get too fixated on these traits, or you have these beliefs that women are naturally extremely hypergamous, that could be very damaging to both your view of women and your own success in dating. It's okay to be interested in increasing your income, in increasing your resources. But don't think that's all you have to offer. And I do warn you that if you attract a woman solely through your resources, there will always be another guy with greater resources. So if that's all she's with you for, she won't have reason to stay for very long. It's simply a matter of opportunity and time. On the other hand, if a woman loves you for your character, for your loyalty, for your emotional connection, she will be much more likely to stay with you through thick and thin. But of course, would she have been initially attracted to you if you had absolutely nothing to offer in terms of resources? Likely no. And the final thing that men misunderstand about female nature is the complexity of female emotion. It's been proven that women feel greater extremes of emotion than men do. And how a woman feels about a particular person or a particular thing can be greatly affected by her mood at the time and her environment. Especially with the menstrual cycle, I think it's hard for us men to imagine what it would be like to have our entire mood and psychological state reset every month, to have our energy levels change so out of our control every single month. As men, it's much easier for us to stay on one level emotional playing field. As long as you don't mess that up for yourself with drugs, alcohol, or some other addiction, you can maintain a very steady emotional state over a long period of time. But biologically, that's just impossible for women. So don't despair if you feel like a woman in your life is changing her mind about things, having mood swings from one day to the next. It's simply a part of female nature. And really, that chaotic feminine energy is a nice complement to the more stoic and steady masculine energy. Because if you were in a relationship with somebody who's exactly like you all of the time, just as disciplined, just as focused, just as consistent, then where would the excitement and edge come into that relationship? I hope it's clear from this video that I by no means think that anything about female nature is worse or inferior to male nature. In fact, I wholeheartedly embrace these differences. I think it's just important for us to understand them. Let me know down in the comments one thing about female nature that you have observed that you believe many men don't quite get. Whether it's something you've learned from your marriage, relationship, or just a different woman in your life like your mother, your boss, or even your grandma, I'm very interested to know what you think. So I look forward to reading those comments, and I'll see you gentlemen in the very next video.